Guys, how are you guys doing? Okay, so I have a message for two people, two females specifically. But before I get into this message, I just want to say something quick. I know some people are frustrated because they're like, why do you put out a lot of prophetic warnings and why are we focused on that and all of that stuff? Listen, I put out prophetic warnings because that's one of the gifts that I have. I can see the plans of the enemies. I can see the plots of people. And when I see certain things, God comes through and he confirms it for me. Okay. And there's a lot of people that watch my channel. There's people who think that they're crazy and they're not crazy. And they're like, God, am I tripping? Is this real? Is this person really against me? Or is this person really trying to block me? Or, and a lot of people, because they think they're crazy, they keep these doors open, not realizing that is someone that's against them. That is something that's against them. That's something that's hindering their growth. And they get the red flags, or they see the red flags. And then it's like they see God is talking to them. But then sometimes the devil will make you doubt yourself. And that's where God comes through. Okay. And God says, okay, you got to confirm this for this person. You got to confirm that for that person. And trust me, just as much as, I want to give y'all sugar-coated prophecies sometimes because it makes y'all feel good, I can't. Okay, if God gives me an encouraging message, I got to put the encouraging message out. If God gives me a prophetic warning, I want to put the prophetic warning out. I have to, because I have to put it out, right? I have to put whatever God gives me out. That's why you'll see up and down messages. God doesn't stick to one thing when it comes to me. Like literally, like I have a lot of positive messages, but then I have a lot of messages I'm like, oh, do I have to say something? I don't say something and God told me to say something, I can get in trouble. Like yesterday's message, God says you have to say something. You have to put it out. That's what he said. Last night he said they're planning a new ritual. They're starting a new ritual. And he came, I know the Holy Spirit's voice. So when he came through, I had to speak. I'm like, okay, God, I have to say something. But then he also came through with other messages too. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, if anybody has an issue with that, go and pray about it. Don't come to me and complain to me about what God is telling me to do. Go and take it to God if you have an issue with it. Go on your knees and pray and say, God, why are you telling Stephanie to say this? Go ask him. Don't complain to me. Ask him, because then what you're doing is you're telling me to disobey what God told me to do by doing that. You see what I'm saying? So ask God himself. This message is very important. So God gave me revelation about something. I will say that there's two ladies who watch my channel. Both ladies, and I'm going to say this before, please guys, no bashing in the comment section, no disrespect in the comment section, and no trying to make someone feel bad, no judgment, no pointing fingers, because I'm not judging anybody. I'm just giving the message out, but I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable or feel like everyone is ganging up on them in the comment section. Please be encouraging. Like, encourage these individuals. Don't poke fingers at them and throw scriptures at them. Say, yeah, you're not supposed to do this. Encourage them. That's how people learn. And that's how people also come back to God, is through encouragement. How many of you guys have been judged in a church and it made you run from the church? Do you get what I'm saying? Like Paul says, who were you, children of God, before you found God? You are not perfect, right? So we have to remember that everyone's walk of life is different, and the way how God calls people, it's not going to be the same. He calls everyone differently. Like if God calls you through a dream, he may call the other person in their gift to hear. He may call someone else via vision. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not up to us to point fingers at someone based on their past or what they're into. We have to encourage the person and pray for them, and that way they can see the truth and they can see the light of the Holy Spirit, and the revelation can come to them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, everyone's going to have their encounter with God, and everyone's encounter with God is going to be different. You see what I'm saying? So remember that, guys. Okay, so I saw two ladies, and it was weird because the way God showed it to me, it was like I saw you guys reading tarot cards, and when he showed me your faces, okay, I was there. And I feel like if you guys had the same revelation last night, because you guys have gifts, then God may have already showed me to you or showed you me. Okay, so I was talking to both of you guys, And the Holy Spirit came through me when I was talking to you guys. And I revealed something to you about the tarot cards. Something that I suspected, but I didn't have full confirmation on it, full revelation on it. I just know that God told me to stop. And when I stopped, I stopped. And I want everyone to know, just because someone reads oracle cards or tarot cards, it does not mean the person that's reading the cards is evil. There's a lot of people that have big hearts that have been led astray because of them being rejected from the churches and people putting them down. Some people run to New Age because they really so badly want to heal, and they don't have knowledge about what's really going on behind the scenes. So not everyone that runs to New Age or that's in tarot readings or stuff, not everyone is actually evil. There's evil tarot card readers, but there's also evil people that read the Bible. Okay. Some people actually got into it because they were led astray, and they so badly wanted healing, they went onto the wrong path. This is why I don't judge people, because that happened to me. You know, I was rejected from a church, and I went onto the wrong path because I so badly wanted to heal, and I thought that was the right way, and that was not the right way. You get what I'm saying? But God did use that. He was strategic because he used that as a way for me to help a lot of people. So when I went back to Christ, he actually revealed to me that over 300 people came back to him when I came back to him. So me changing my life and going back home to Christ helped others have the same revelation and go back home to Christ. So it was God himself that was strategic in that moment, right? So that's why you'll see a lot of people on my channel, because my channel was already big before I even got back to Christ, but it helped a lot of people find God again, right? So yeah, someone just called and interrupted my thing. So yeah, so he showed me something, and I was talking to you guys about it, these two ladies, and he basically mentioned, because a lot of people think the first tarot cards were made in Italy, and it wasn't. The first tarot cards were actually made in Egypt, and it was made centuries ago. And when I was talking to these ladies, I was giving them a lot of wisdom and knowledge about it. I'm like, these cards are from Egypt. The original cards are from Egypt. And I said, please. And I don't know how I explained it to them, but the Lord gave me a revelation. And the way I explained the revelation to them is it tied back down to Exodus. It went back down to Moses and Pharaoh and the Egyptians, and how the Pharaoh had different beliefs than Moses, right? And how the Pharaoh had, people, he was using people to use their gifts, telling people to use their gifts to help him, but Moses came through with God's gift, right? And the difference. And for some reason, that all tied back down to also the tarot card. Don't ask me why. The way how I explained it to these individuals, exactly how God explained it to me. The way I'm explaining it now is, I don't even know how it's explained, because when I explained it to these ladies, I was explaining it in spirit. And I was talking to them in spirit, and the Holy Spirit was with me. And when I finished talking to the ladies about this, I was like, God said, come home. God said it's time to come home. One of the ladies, she was just like, I don't know if I want to stop doing it. The other lady, you can tell that she already had this in her spirit. You can tell that God was already speaking to her. And that was just her confirmation, okay? Because the way how she looked was like, oh my gosh. And then the lady that was more... One of the ladies was like, I don't know. The other lady that was more like, oh my gosh, this is the revelation that I already got. She was stressing because of money. She was like, well, if I stop, it's going to mess with me financially. She was stressed out. And I'm like, well, if God is calling you back home, don't you think that God is going to take care of all your needs? God says, I will take care of all your needs. So what makes you think that God won't take care of all your needs? When God is calling you home, he is calling you home for a reason. He is saying it's time to come back home. It's enough of this. It's time to come back home. You know he's calling you home. He said, I'm going to take care of your needs, okay? And when God called me back, I was hesitant too, because I'm like, God, what am I going to do? I have all this other stuff going on, but I put it on pause to do this, and now I have to go find everything and start everything again. God said, trust me. You have to trust me. So he said, it's time to come back home. So you got to trust God. He said, it's time to come home. And one of the ladies, I remember when I was talking to her, I was giving her a lot of knowledge about it. I don't know what the Holy Spirit was telling me, but it was tied to Pharaoh, it was tied to the Israelites, it was tied to Exodus, and I was talking about the tarot cards and how it originated from Egypt and how around that time they were slaving the Israelite. Like, I didn't know what type of knowledge God was giving me, but I was speaking facts. I know for a fact I was speaking facts in spirit. Because when I got up, the Holy Spirit literally said, "Smart girl," and he congratulated me for speaking that knowledge. So I was like, oh wow, Holy Spirit, you taught me something. Physically, I don't remember what I said. I just remember the basics of it, but I was going really, really deep in conversation with these two ladies about it. And I was like, God said it's time to come home now. It's time to come home. And like I said, one was more hesitant about it, like she didn't really believe what I was saying. The other one knew. She knew God was calling her home, right? And you just have to trust God when he says he's going to take care of you. Don't ignore the call if he's calling you home. That's the worst thing you can do. Because he, like I said in the other message, if God calls you and you ignore the call, he may just give your crown to someone else. You get what I'm saying? And especially for him to say come back home means that you are originally his and you were led astray. You know, similar what happened to me. You're originally his, but you were led astray. And, you know, maybe because of heartbreak and stuff. But I feel like your main concern was mainly like, how am I going to take care of myself? So I know this is someone that's doing this like as a business. God will take care of your needs, but you have to trust him. Yeah, you may go through a little bit of hardships. It's, you know, trials and tribulations in the beginning, but is it really worth losing your calling? Is it really worth ignoring God? Do you get what I'm saying? So you really have to obey when God is calling you. Okay. Like I said, I'm not sure what facts I spoke, but I know it was facts because the Holy Spirit was happy with me when I got up. There is something tied to that. Like there's something deep going on. I don't know if I could say a lot of stuff because the Holy Spirit tells me some stuff sometimes, and sometimes he tells me stuff and he's like, shh, don't say nothing. And then sometimes I'm supposed to say it. But this particular case, I can't even remember how deep I went in with that because I don't even remember it. But I know I remember myself in spirit talking to these ladies, and I was going really deep in conversation, and God was cheering me on, and we were getting some big revelations. And yeah, so please listen to the Holy Spirit, okay? Y'all know who you are, and trust God, okay? I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.